football, bloody hell. But they never give in. And that's the winner.
Group, we're looking into the Group C. It's the most boring group of this Euro 2020 probably, because there's hardly any competition and any team to watch out for except for one. But also United fans are losing interest because of the absence of one name. So Group C has Netherlands, Ukraine, Austria, and North Macedonia, out of which probably the Netherlands, who are expected to be the good phase in their group stages, but they qualified as a runner-ups. Whereas Ukraine and North Macedonia, Ukraine qualified as Group D winners, Austria is qualified as runner-ups, and North Macedonia qualified as playoffs path D winners. So into the more depth about how Group C will be lining up, will come around. Like, what are your thoughts about that, Roshan and PC?
Is there an echo?
No, not for me. No.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Let's carry on.
Yeah. So yeah, I agree. Netherlands seem to be like pretty favorable to progress on the top of the stage here. And second place, in my opinion, I think looking at the teams, Austria could be a name to look out for in terms of that, because they've got Alaba, they've got Savitzer, they've got a player like Konrad Laimer to hold the back line a bit. They've got Kaladzic, who's done pretty decently as well. So Austria definitely seem to be a team to look out for, even if they don't get very far. But yeah, obviously Netherlands, huge favourites. They've got some really nice names in the squad, even if they're missing the one name that we all wanted to see, Donny van de Beek. They're also missing Virgil van Dijk, who has gone head and shoulders above anyone else as a centre-back in the recent years. So he's going to be a big miss. But De Ligt, at his young age, he's been outstanding as a leader for Ajax. He's had a bit of a shaky season for Juventus, but I think he's grown into it now. Obviously, Juve have underperformed in a sense. But
what we can say is like the transition from the youth to the getting mature enough. So that would be a phase which every footballer will look around. And being a CB and leading the line, and for a club like Juve,
all that responsibility, it
weighs.
Certainly weighs on him.
Definitely, because Ajax has always been one of teams who have been generating the prospects for the future. But when it comes to staying low key, they have been one of those. Even if you see the previous players like Quincy Promes and many more around, they have always tried to be staying Eredivisie has always been staying very low key when it comes to Europe. But coming back to the point, the Netherlands, I've watched few of the games when it comes to the friendlies and the pre-Euro qualifiers and also, but majority stuff rotates around like Memphis Depay, and who has been the creator and the scorer for him, and having a first 20 plus goal or assist, like the goal contribution season in League One, he has been pretty dominant for them this year. What are your thoughts?
Memphis Depay, yeah, definitely main man in attack. We all, us United fans, obviously know him as the younger, slightly arrogant, I guess you could say, left winger, because he came in and he had led a pretty flashy life from a very young time.
Was it him or Marcus Rojo who had an orange Rolls Royce?
It probably might be Memphis, I guess, because that orange tie is.
I think it was Rojo. Maybe.
But yeah, the manager change also affects a thing, because one of the losers in the past, but being one of the good and a key member of the Orange Army, the Frank de Boer. What are your thoughts about that?
I have no thoughts on Frank de Boer.
Honestly,
when you tie him to Crystal Palace.
Absolutely, I was.
He lost 9 in a row, right?
7 or 9?
7 in a row. 7 wins, 7 games, not a single point.
Absolutely.
So when he got to talking about Mourinho, shut him down immediately.
But looking into the midfield, absence of Donny van de Beek definitely will cause the quick one-touch games and also that will be eliminated from that. That definitely will have to be worked around, because
starting
he
for
didn't.
Them, was he?
No, he was starting few of the matches, but definitely he was impacting from the bench, like scoring a late goals or like making an assist or creating some of the good chances at the end. That was a key moment for him. Like, but as you can say, like the move to Manchester United has always, like, his career has been declined since then for the past year. We can say that it's
Well,
definitely not.
yeah, I think it's pretty strong to say that, this has been a failure for, after just 1 year. Like, obviously we can say that with Hazard because, he's been injured and stuff. But I think the problem with Donny van de Beek and Manchester United is a play style. Because Ajax and Van der Beek, they, like you said, they were a quick one-touch passing team. Donny excels in space. Like, you give him even just a little bit of space in the box, he'll find it and he'll manipulate the ball really well. And I think
Yeah.
Manchester United are very much they're sort of like a reliant skill-based team. Like, you give the ball to him on any player and he'll do pretty well. But I think very much possession reliant rather than creating space.
It's more of a system which you meant to be, because like United play a very different ball compared to what Ajax plays around, or even in the Orange Army what it plays around. So like, but still they going into the goal contribution of it, like they have Gini Wijnaldum, which is going to be a key player for them, like who has been there for like who has scored in 4 out of the 5 last encounters for the Orange Army. So I'm definitely looking out for him and his move
Wijnaldum
to.
has been crucial, certainly. Yeah, like you say, he just got transferred to Paris Saint-Germain on a free transfer, and I feel that's a huge mistake on Liverpool's part.
I just love
Absolutely.
the way he moved to PSG. Oh my god.
I know, like
I
he was
I
so close to
absolutely hate
joining Barcelona,
Barcelona.
then PSG coming with a higher money offer.
Let me
Absolutely.
just
Sold.
get it right out there. Like I absolutely hate Barcelona and all their fucking fans. And the minute it happened, oh my,
It was
just
brilliant. It's
it was
such it's so,
beautiful. It's beautiful.
But
and I think
talking onto the Barca point of it, they are struggling on the financials like crazy, and it was. But obviously, if the wages are not getting met, it's definitely the player is not accepting the offer.
Yeah, I mean it's Genie's last big contract. He's 28, right?
he's
Yeah, he's
30, I
28.
think. So
He's 29.
28 or
Like
30.
he's 30.
nearing
Yeah.
that.
29,
So
30.
yeah, this is his last big chance for a good payday and also a good contribution.
Yeah,
Because PSG,
it's
like, they're a team that they've wanted to win the Champions League. Like, last season, they got to the final as well. Like, well, we can, I guess, say late year before last. They lost narrowly to Bayern, but they have a team. They have the team ready for it. And I think
absolutely.
I think I know we said about it in chat, but I do think Wijnaldum offers something that the rest of that midfield probably doesn't have in terms of enforcement.
Definitely, we had a like debate over it. Like,
We had a good debate on
will
it on WhatsApp.
absolutely, because we had a
Wijnal
like
Wijnaldum is what Fred aspires to be.
absolutely,
Fred,
absolutely.
all of this is another debate altogether.
Yeah,
We need
absolutely.
to
We
get
cannot
back
bring
to the
in. We
Euros.
cannot bring in the Fred debate
We
around
need
here.
to get back to the Euros. Forget bringing
Absolutely.
other
But
players into it.
looking into the team lineups and also like I will be looking out for Coop Miners and Gravenbach if they are getting the chances on the big stages. They definitely have the talent to excel. Actually,
Yeah, future prospects for sure. And also, I think Daniel Malen, as a young prospect, he was unreal. I think he burst out the blocks with like 4 goals in one game, and all of a sudden, everyone was raving about the guy.
it's
He's kind of lost a bit of that hype, but I think he's still a very good prospect. Luke De Jong as well, someone who I
Luke De Jong has
personally,
always been there on the bigger stages,
yeah.
or if you ask for odd girls, and he has been always there for them. So it's kind of a dark horse who has been there in that team.
Do you guys think Bergwijn from Spurs has ruined his career? Like, I feel he didn't make the stint because of what happened in Spurs and how it affected his game time and everything. I
It
think he
more
would
of
have
it
fitted the
came
best
off due
team.
to the injury, to be honest, not more of due to the game time and all stuff. But lack of game time and also was more of due to the injury. And when it came to the like selection time of it, he was not available. So I don't see any issues with his move to the Spurs. But yeah, definitely the manager changing and the tactics and all stuff will come into picture later on. But coming to the Euros, like I still feel that they have a decent squad to make it to the like couple of rounds.
They've got a very
Yeah, definitely.
versatile defense. That's what I'm seeing right here. I'm seeing a lot of fullbacks who can play both as a centre back and also as a defensive midfielder if needed.
Absolutely. Like moving on to the next team, I would be looking for Austria. Like how we have discussed, like the legend will always be starting into the front, like Arnautovic, the 26 career goals, and more of it, like the 6 have been in the qualifiers. That is the main point of attraction. So the form and the touch is there. So it would be like I'm still looking out for what formation they'll look around for, because looking into the press conference by the manager, like they have been talking around like different formations being tried into the trainings and all stuff. And more of it, they have a 2 forwards and who can play as a second striker and a forward, like Kalasdik and Arnautovic. I'm really like looking into like how they will be lining up for that. And coming to the main transfer which happened before, like before the window even getting started, David Alaba. So
That was
definitely
that
the
was one hell
man
of a
will.
coup. That was a
But
coup for sure.
it's a typical Real Madrid kind of a signing, like giving a huge amount of wages and
on
just
on both sides as well, because it's typical of Bayern to sell someone who's sort of aging and also not accepting
But the guy has
the
absolutely.
won
offer that they give.
everything. He's
But
won
it's
everything at
always
Bayern.
been that technique, like if they predict it out very early, even if the player who leaves Bayern generally doesn't flourish or doesn't give that much amount of goals or contribution like what he has been given for Bayern. It has always been the case, if you see.
Hell, we learned from Schweinsteiger.
Absolutely.
Like
Schweinsteiger was
obviously
a
he's a defensive midfielder as such, but as much as we loved seeing him train on the sidelines for United, wear our shirt, like we'll always remember the time that Bastian Schweinsteiger played for Man United.
played for Man.
But I think the
Abs-
midfield did not work as well as we hoped it would
Oh, fuck.
during,
Absolutely.
Please
you know,
don't
the
take
Van
me
Gaal
back.
days and whatnot.
Fair enough, fair enough. Like these are the 2 teams which I look around for this group, but considering Ukraine, hardly like I can talk about a couple of players which like one which we regularly see in the Premier League is Zinchenko, who is like a kind of a shrewd pick. Like he's kind of like how I look around for McTominay in a Manchester United squad. Like you deploy him anywhere, like
Doesn't he play on the wing for Ukraine and not as a left back?
no, it's kind of a wing back and a midfielder kind of a role when it comes to the things. But not to be specific, like what I said, like how Scott McTominay is for Manchester United, Zinchenko has been for Manchester City. Like
Yeah, he's
you
not
deploy
someone that you pick out when it comes to like the individual quality of the player, but his impact for the
absolutely,
team goes, you know, far beyond that.
absolutely,
And let's not
absolutely.
forget, he's still like 20 or 21, so he's still got a long career ahead of him if he performs here as well.
And definitely he has a good manager for his progress to be monitored.
Yeah.
Guardiola. I'm not sure like many have heard this name or not, but Ruslan Malinovsky is one of the names to be looking around for, and the prodigy has been there for Atlanta to save their UCL spot recently. So I'm definitely looking out for that guy, because like
Yeah.
rest of the team is completely combination of Shakhtar Donetsk and Dynamo Kyiv. So hardly we know a couple of players who should be looking out for.
Yeah, Malinovsky, I think he's someone who definitely came up clutch for Atlanta in the late stages. Like you said, he saved the UCL spot. And yeah, he's definitely scored a few from midfield as well. So one to definitely look out for.
Definitely. So moving on to the next group, we'll look into the group D, which is one of the most interesting and definitely the most interesting for Roshan. And it will be the group D, which will be having England, Croatia, Czech Republic, and the Scotland. And England, Croatia, and Scotland have been the winners or the playoff path winners, while Czech Republic qualified as the Group A runner-ups. So what are your thoughts on that?
Well, England, you know, how can I live here and not wax lyrical about them after everything I've seen? Like I personally feel, and I think I've seen this being bandied about on Twitter as well, there's very big potential for this to become like another golden generation. Like obviously in the mid 2000s and the early 2010s, you had the likes of, you know, Gerrard, Lampard, Scholes, Becks, Rooney. Like you can rattle off all those names without hesitation. And I have a feeling that this team is going to be another one of those squads. because it's not just individual talent, but I personally feel the team chemistry between all these guys, despite them all playing for rival clubs, I think it's the best I've ever seen out of any England team, because that was something that Rio Ferdinand pointed out as the reason why England were never successful. They took club over country. And these guys have sort of like, they've birthed, like, they have been raised from the same batch, and they're all really tight with each other. So I feel that plays a lot of, I think that pays a lot of respect towards their team chemistry.
But I'm seriously still having the doubts about the managers and how
Yeah.
he will be utilizing the, because like selection also questions a few of the, like, raises the eyebrows. Like if you see like Aaron Van Bissaka specifically, like I'm not pointing out any specific names, but Aaron Van Bissaka has been
Will
like
happily point Aaron Wan-Bissaka out for you. I am very sad he had not made it.
absolutely
But honestly, after the season he's had, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, he's featured in nearly every single game, every single important game, you could say, for Manchester United. He's played, I guess, 36 out of the 38 league games, and he has been first choice right back, not just like obviously for a lack of depth, but he has held his own in this position for Manchester United. I feel he's progressed a lot in his game, so he certainly should have been looked at in terms of, like, if you're going to take 4 right backs, at least take one who is an elite 1v1 defender. At least someone who is going to lock top wingers down when you know it, because that's what Aaron Wan-Bissaka has done. Like,
I think
Raheem Sterling still has him in his nightmares.
what happens with England is everything gets so romanticized with the big names and the big players that there is no logic to it. Do you really think England is gonna go man for man and attack a France or a Belgium? No, I think if there is a Aaron Van Bissaka in that team, you can play a different type of game. The arrogance needs to be a little down there. I feel there
Yeah, the
there's a
squad
mistake.
selection has certainly been a question, not just because of the names that have been left out, but also because of the balance of the team. There are only
Yeah,
5 recognized midfielders in the central area. You've got Declan Rice, Calvin Phillips, Jordan Henderson, who is struggling to come away from injury, Mason Mount, and Jude Bellingham. So these
yep.
are the only recognized central midfield players. But when Trent Alexander-Arnold was ruled out, it's so unfortunate for him, because Trent, I don't know how he became a doubt across the season, because obviously he is a brilliant attacking prospect off the right back side. So he certainly should have been there at the beginning. Like, the injury was just like, God knows why, God knows how it happened, thigh injury. But then I think when you have that opportunity to take someone else, you don't overcrowd an area of the pitch that is already covered, like your center backs and your right backs. You have enough there. You have to. I feel like you needed a bit more balance in the midfield area, like a James
I think,
Ward-Prowse
yeah, I was
or a
about to
Jesse
say,
Lingard. Those two I think should be hard
yeah,
done by. Like,
I,
congrats to
I
Ben
feel
White for getting in. I hope he does well. But I feel, just
I
for the
feel a
balance
little
side,
bad for Jesse. He really showed up in the later half of the tournament
bear in mind we are
for
all
West
United
Ham.
fans, so we are going to be a bit biased talking
definitely
about
we
these
have the
guys.
reservations for that.
Okay,
Yeah, but
just a second while we are at the topic of England, let me just share something very interesting. So yeah, so this is how England will win if they
okay.
win the tournament. Now
You've
you're
just
telling
said
me
you've
England
just
is gonna win. England is gonna win against France. Okay, they're gonna win against Spain. They're gonna win against Germany, and then they're gonna beat Portugal to
That is
lift.
such a hard pathway. That is a very difficult
Oh
pathway,
man,
and one I don't think is going to work at all. That's
No,
why, like,
I don't see with Southgate present, I don't see them winning, to be honest, but definitely they have a good chance of proceeding in that competition. I
with
cannot say the winners definitely, but so there always stay the question of will it be coming home or it's coming home. So
the
it
ghost of
still remains a
1996
question.
has always like loomed over, and I think especially since 1990, the World Cup of 1990, when I think we made it to the semi-finals or something like that, and then we lost on penalties. I think ever since then, like the ghost of progression has always loomed over. So every time we say it's coming home, we always have reservations about it. But England are so shameless about it. We do not give a damn. We do not give a damn.
Absolutely. Okay, so moving the point which about Aaron Van Bissaka we pulled up, but looking into the formation, what he's looking to play around, it's more of a back three, and even in back four also he dynamically tries to shift it to back three and making like a one wing back as a full back, and then playing him at a back three like Maguire, John Stones, and a full back like Kyle Walker or somebody, and making them deploy. And
Yeah, Maguire, his injury, like he's returned to full training since, so that's good news. He might miss a Croatia match, though I don't know. But I think his return to the side will be a big boost because I feel like that's why Southgate selected Ben White instead of a Ward-Prowse or a Jesse Lingard, because I feel like he doesn't have enough trust in the centre backs despite choosing so many. Like you've got players like Connor Cody, who is a good leader, but I don't know if he's got that real centre back quality with him in terms of how he's doing with
no,
Wolves.
but it's always
Harold,
decision making what matters at that moment. Like Maguire and Johnsons have been pretty much there in that situations far more than Connor Cody or like anybody around that. Even Ben White also. But these are the young prospects which should be given a little bit of exposure at these stages as well. So yeah.
Who do you think will be the starting centre back pair for England against Croatia? Will he go with a 3 at the back, or will he put up 4?
there have been discussions about starting a 3 at the back, so it could be something like a Shaw, Stones, Walker.
Ah, man.
Shaw,
Taking so many
John
defenders
Stones,
and
Kyle Walker, and then flanked by Ben Chilwell and maybe Kieran Trippier.
But to be honest, like the Kyle Walker move sounds to be a good move because he has the pace, and the track back issues can also be sorted when it comes to the counter, because they
Walker
try
is
to play.
no shit defender. Like he's powerful, he's fast. I think until last season he used to regularly clock the fastest sprint with the ball for
No, it's
City.
not only about the speed or it's kind of the thing, but it's about the presence also, like when to move
Yep.
and the crossing abilities or even the progression of the ball. And definitely the Pep ball has worked for him, to be honest.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
He's done very well in that system.
What do you think about Raheem Sterling starting at left wing back?
Marcus Rashford, you poor sod. This guy, like, I'm not even going to get to Sterling because then I have to talk about
No.
Marcus
So
Rashford.
what I've read, what the article said, which I read, was 3 at the back with Shaw, Stones, and Reece James as the back 3.
Oh, Reece James. Yeah. I didn't talk about Reece James, but yeah,
Left wing
he's
back will be
certainly someone
Raheem
who could
Sterling,
do.
and
He's
right
someone who
wing
can
back
do
would
well
be
on those.
Kyle Walker.
Left wing Raheem Sterling.
be-
Like I honestly feel if Marcus Rashford, like if Manchester United had managed Marcus Rashford a bit better, then he would have been a starter without any doubt, without any hesitation whatsoever. That would have meant Sterling would move to the right wing, where I feel like he's a bit more comfortable anyway. But obviously, you've got people like Jadon Sancho to compete with, and it's a very fluid, attack that they
Okay,
bring.
Harry Kane starts here
Completely,
every
100%,
every
100%.
match.
There's no
Right?
doubt about that, I feel.
There's zero doubt
So,
whatsoever. Harry Kane
so
starts.
who starts on the left and who starts on the right wing?
Let's see. This is going to be very interesting because I have heard that the midfield is going to be Rice and Phillips as a pivot
man.
behind
That would be
Mason
really
Mount.
good. Yeah.
So defensive security is there. I don't doubt that for a second with Rice and Phillips in there. And Mount has done really well for Chelsea this season. I feel like, obviously, with Frank Lampard having managed him at both Derby and Chelsea, there was a lot of reservations about him actually being a very good footballer because with Chelsea struggling, Mount was doing well. So we figured, we can leave him. But I think under Tuchel, he's done really well, and he's evolved pretty much, I guess, into a footballer you can count on in the big stages. So he's 100% deserved to start. And in terms of the wingers, oh my God,
Would
you've
you
got
start Foden or Sancho on the right?
that's the thing. Like Grealish or Foden will be options on the left, then Sterling and Sancho will be options on the right. I personally think to start with, and especially because it's Croatia, a team that, God damn it, man, they knocked us out of the last World Cup, and that nightmare still plays, and not just in that World Cup. Euro 2008, I think we lost against them, didn't we? Because we only needed a draw, to qualify for Euro 2008, and we lost that game. So Croatia, if any team has to be hated by England fans behind Germany, I think Croatia is a good place to start.
I think
as you have put out the topic for Croatia, like who are you looking for into that team? Because my like I have always had been the reservations for the midfielder Brozovic.
Yeah, in terms of Croatia. Oh, by the way, Prithviraj, to answer your question, I think he would go for a bit more of an experienced one. So maybe Grealish on the left and Sterling on the right.
I don't know, man. If I was him, I would put Rashford there, like raw
Rashford,
pace.
I think Rashford will still need a bit more time to recover because God knows the season that he's gone through.
Yeah, I mean, as a United fan,
after-
I don't want him to play more. I
but
would
but
have
he
him
is
on the bench.
but he is really important. That's the thing, because if you started a front three of, let's say, Jack Grealish, Mount, and Foden, as has been that's been kind of touted. They all are ball winners. They all do well with the ball, but there's no one to run in behind. That's why one of Rashford or Sterling has to start. I feel it'll be Sterling on the right.
Okay, so coming to the point which I was mentioning, like who you look for Croatia this time around, because I have my reservations on Brozovic and also Rebic.
Yeah, there are people I'm highlighting as well. But mainly with Croatia, their strongest asset is quite clearly the midfield, because they have Brozovic, they've got Kovacic and Modric. Everyone knows Luka Modric. Everyone knows how well he did to get to pretty much, marshal Croatia to the World Cup final. And
Absolutely.
he's certainly their main man. Kovacic is a very good ball progressor himself. And Brozovic is a pretty damn good DM in his own way as well. I think he's definitely been highlighted as someone important for them.
But it's more of like the team revolves around the midfield, as we can say for that.
Exactly, yeah. Their defense, I think you can, they have Livakovic in goal, who has done pretty well, and they've got Domagoj Vida, I think, and Kalatakar. Kalatakar, I think, is someone who people will be looking out for, because he's kind of emerged, I guess, onto the big stage this season, and people are going to be looking for him as maybe a transfer target even. So he's someone to look out for, and a forward, as you said, I think Kante Rebic will be the most important, because he's very energetic. I think out of the three attackers that they have, Rebic, Petkovic, and Perisic, I think he will do the
I
best,
think
because I feel like he's
Perisic
coming
is
into prime.
for them.
Hmm?
Perisic has been key for them
Perisic has been very
some
key
of their
for them, for sure. Something tells me
Yeah,
Rebic's energy will do well.
definitely. Moving on
Petkovic. Petkovic has had a decent season for Dynamo Zagreb. 9 goals and 9 assists in 25 games. Not bad. 18 goal contributions. And he scored 1 goal in 4 appearances for Croatia.
Yeah, Petkovic has done well for them. Rebic has done well for Frankfurt. So there is potential there. I feel like they just need to make it tick.
Yeah. As a team, they need to kick around for this time, because the main link, which is the midfield, like if that works around for them, definitely it's their ball that day.
It's very much possible. And one thing I forgot to mention throughout all this talking is the dynamic of the group. This whole group dynamic, I have a feeling it's going to be much tighter than people believe. It's not going to be
Definitely.
as open-ended as any of the first three groups, because England has history with all three of them. With Croatia, obviously, it's the previous footballing experience. With Scotland, it's obviously a huge rivalry on the international stage. I still remember Lee Griffiths scoring 2 goals in the last 2 minutes to secure a 2-2 draw. So that was really good. And also Czech Republic, they have history as well, because they met in the European Championship qualifiers. They were in the same group, and they actually beat them in one game. So I feel it's going to be tight, but who knows? Really, who knows?
As you have pulled out of the topic from Czech Republic, definitely being the regular watchers of Premier League, we have been familiar with a couple of names like Vladimir Kufal and Thomas Souček. So what are your thoughts about that? are they having the ability to carry the team? Because it's been quite a while, like Czech Republic haven't been a big hit on a bigger stage, but do they have the...
I feel like a lot of their game revolves around Soufal and Souček in terms of build-up, because he's a good anchor and he's a good passer as well. I don't know much about them, to be very honest with you, after in these recent years. But yeah, Soufal and Souček will be very important for them. Soufal especially because he marches the entire right wing. Like, he's very good in defense, and he's also a really good crosser of the ball. I feel like that's an underrated aspect of his. And I feel someone in attack who's going to be important for them is Patrick Schick.
Yeah, the forward.
So he's done very well for very recently. I feel, does he play for Leipzig? I think he does. He either plays for Leipzig or is on loan from them. But he has been a regular goal scorer for both club and country, and I feel like he's going to be a big target man for them.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's these three players: Soufal, Souček, Schick. That's who their game is going to depend on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And coming to the last team of this group, that is the Scotland. What are your thoughts? Because majorly the Scotland have been like a couple of familiar names we have been going around. So, what are your thoughts about this?
Yeah, it's those familiar names.
I only care about McTominay.
It's the McTominay, to be honest.
We all love Scott McTominay. We're all gonna watch out for him,
Okay,
obviously.
Roshan, I have a question for you here. Would you have McTominay score against England?
Oh, that's a pretty hard. but
preferably not. But I'd be happy if he did.
But I can also answer on this behalf of Roshan, to be honest, because country comes first when it comes to the bigger stage, to be honest. And the modern era footballers have been on that par, is what I feel.
Yeah, exactly. So it'd be great if he didn't, but I wouldn't mind if he did score. If anyone was going to score against England, it'd be good if it was McTominay. But yeah, But exactly.
Yeah, but the chances will always be the less, because he always plays as a centre back for Scotland when it comes to the international stages.
He does, especially in the 3 formation. Yeah.
Oh, I could see him winning a header against Maguire and just scoring a goal in a set piece. That would be
That's what you see.
It's absolute a fairy tale kind of thing.
That would be hilarious if that happened, honestly.
Okay, so quickly, who do you think are going to be the top 2 to qualify from Group D?
England I feel, will definitely qualify. Whether as top or second, I don't know. And I have a good feeling that both Croatia and Scotland may qualify as a third place winner. Because I feel like with Czech Republic, if they neutralize, the likes of Schick and Souček, especially Souček coming in late and being an aerial threat in the box, if they neutralize him, I don't think Czech Republic will stand much of a chance. And because of their topsy-turvy form and everything, I feel
I think Croatia is not that stable too, right? So
yeah, Croatia is also slightly unstable. I feel like they're there for the taking if
it's not so clear.
But I'll still go for Croatia as a number 2 spot.
It's the quality that shines with the winning.
Absolutely.
We'll see.
Okay, moving on to the next group.